Okay, so real quick, I'd like to check and see if I can enter data into the calculator. On the previous page, I did some realistic data about people and their incomes at various ages. On this page, I am looking at, sort of tongue-in-cheek, I decided to become a researcher of apples, potatoes, and onions. And I randomly had 11 apples, 12 potatoes, and 11 onions in my kitchen, so I decided to weigh each of them. The weights are in grams. And I believe if you click on that link, you might even be able to see a picture of the kitchen, the vegetables in the kitchen. So what I want to do, well, we want to do this by hand first and then enter the data into the calculator and see how that works as well. So this is my TI-84 emulator. And you can put an app on your phone, which I've got linked in our course materials, to download that to your phone if you do not have a TI-84. If you can buy one, that would be great, or borrow one. I think they're available used. You could use the app until you get a used one off eBay or something like that. I'm trying to think of how to save you guys money. Okay, so here it says find the mean and mode for each by hand. To save time, the sums have been provided. So you know that to find the mean, you need to add up all these apples' weights and then divide by 11 the number of apples. So we're just going to do 1,500 divided by 11, 136.4. So there was a rule that said keep one more decimal place than the data provided. And then the mode is the most frequently occurring, so we get 133 grams. And we'll do the same thing for the potatoes. This time there's 12 potatoes, so 154.1. And what was the mode? I think there was no mode in this case because none of these was the most frequently occurring. Yep, and there's also no mode over here. And then the mean for the onions is going to be 1838 divided by 11, 167.1. Cool, so got that. And then 5-number summary, it says find the min, median, and max by hand. So min is right here. Median, median is in the middle, and then the max is here. So this is the median. Find the middle one, and I also have a rule in my head that I'll show you later. If you take n plus 1, 12, so the number of data values plus 1 is 12, divide by 2 is 6, that's going to be the median. So over here, this is also going to be the median. What happens when you have 12 data values? Because 12 plus 1 is 13. 13 divided by 2 is 6.5. So that means you're going to take the 6th value and the 7th value and average them together. So I'm going to take 138 plus 147, divide by 2, and I get 142.5 is my median. And my min was 71 in that case. Here the min was 127, the median was 137. Over here my min is 20 grams, that's a very small onion, and the median was 169. cool. So now I just have to figure out the first quartile. And the first quartile is the median of the lower 50%. So what is the median of these values right here? This is Q1, my first quartile. And what is the median of the upper 50%? This is my Q3. Now over here, the Q1 is the average of these two, which is a little bit frustrating. You might have wanted it just to be item number 3 on the list, but remember this list is a little bit longer. So the average of these two values is Q1. And we'll see if the calculator agrees when we put this information in. The average of 9 and 10, average is Q3. And of course here is the max, the max. And then over here again we get Q1 and Q3. So when we come down we can fill in our values for the 5-number summary for each of these. Let's see if I can. Okay, cool. So the first quartile is 133. And the third quartile is 142. And the maximum is 144. Same over here. When I went and averaged 115, 115 plus 118 divided by 2, I get 116.5. So the average of these two values is my Q1. So 116.5. What is the average of 186 and 191? I got 188.5 and 296. Okay, so you can follow that method for the onions as well. And then here I'm showing you the calculator instructions, so that's what I wanted to show you in this video. First and third quartiles, use stat calc one variable stats. Well, honestly, what we have to do first is put this data into the calculator, which is going to be a little tedious for me. But I'm going to go hit clear, and then I'm going to go to, see how up here I told you to do stat edit? So I'm going to go to the stat button and then edit, and see how I wrote L1? So that's where I'm going to enter all of these values. 127, enter, 130, okay, so this is going to be tedious, and I just want to show you that if you do a typo, let's say I accidentally typed 139, just arrow back up, type 137 again, and then we're at 140, and I can see here that I'm on entry number 8, and that corresponds to entry number 8 over here, so that's a little reassuring. And then 142, 144, 144, and I have a total of 11 apples, so that's complete. Then I arrow over, and I do this again for the potatoes and the onions. I feel like I should pause my video right now until I get this done. Actually, I'm not sure if I know how to pause. Do I know how to pause? All right, you're just gonna have to bear with me. I'm gonna find out how to pause videos. I'm on potato number 5. Okay, ready for the onions. Cool. So now I get out of here. So right now I'm in the Stat Edit menu and I need to get out. And the way to get out is to press second quit. And now I can use these instructions. Stat calc one variable stats, and then I'm going to do the one variable stats to L1, L2, or L3. So here I go, stat, arrow to the right for calc. Option 1 is one variable stats. The list I'm going to be working with is L1, and I don't worry about frequency list, and I just go down and hit enter. And this is going to show me all sorts of things. The first thing I can see is that this is the X bar is the mean, 136.4. The mode, this does not do. But then if I scroll down, I can see the 5-number summary, 127, 133, etc., which matches what we had right here. So that's pretty cool. And then there's a bunch of other stuff in here that we're going to be learning about later. That's the sample standard deviation, that's the population standard deviation. This is just the sum of all the data values, which I had given you here. So there you go. What I can do now is press stat again, calc, one variable stats, and this time I want to tell it to do it for L2. So I press second L2, arrow down, enter, and there is my mean, 154.1. And then if I arrow down, I can see my 5-number summary right here, which is pretty cool. And it looks like I did everything right. So one more, stat, calc, one variable stats, second L3, enter. And sure enough, there's 167.1, and I'm just going to go ahead and copy down these. 152, 169, 216, and 263. So pretty psyched about that, but even the coolest part is that I can create box plots for these guys. Let me see what this worksheet has you doing later. Oh, I went on and explained to you how to find the quartiles using the percentile method. And I can definitely talk about that a little bit more. But if I go, this is just a little quick tangent. Second stat plot. Well, it's not responding, so I'm going to do second quit. Second quit will get me out of here. Is it not responding to me anymore? Wow, it's mad at me. Okay, well, guess I won't be able to show you how to do the box plots on the graphing calculator right now, but I think I have some videos in the to-do list that will show you how to do that if you care. I mean, you could just use your min, Q1, median, Q3, and max in order to create your own by hand box plot. It's just pretty cool to see the calculator do that. So one more quick thing, to find the quartiles by hand, use the percentile method. The first quartile is the 25th percentile, okay, we knew that. The index of the first quartile is given by 0.25 times n plus 1. So what does that mean? 0.25 times n plus 1. So for the apples, n is 11. For the apples, n is 11. So L1 is apples, n is equal to 11. If I want to find Q1, the index of Q1 is 0.25 times 11 plus 1. So 0.25 times 12 gives me 3. 3 is not Q1. 3 is the index of Q1. So that means that the third item on the list is my Q1. So I go up here, and sure enough, the third item on the list is my Q1 value. Now, if I repeat this process for the potatoes, the index of Q1 is 0.25 times 12 plus 1. So I get 0.25 times 13. I get 3.25. And it doesn't really matter if this is a big or small decimal. What you do is if you get a decimal bigger than 3, that tells you to average the third and fourth potatoes. So if you average those potato weights, which is exactly what I told you to do earlier, then you will have Q1. And that's how that rule works.